I love learning. I enjoy finding something new, trying to understand it, failing at it, and then trying again, until I finally understood whatever it was I was trying to learn. However, there has been one thing I find myself constantly coming back to and learning more and more about. Prisons. I've spent countless hours, crafted projects over the years, and always knew more about the prison system than any of my peers. And it started with my father, who, as a senior director at the San Diego County Office of Education, worked with students who were incarcerated, on probation, or expelled. I became interested in the system and became a sponge of information, and over the years, have learned from those inside the institutions themselves, from videos and interviews, and from those with their own personal experiences. I love the stories of people reinventing themselves and finding new ways to reintegrate into society while bettering their life habits outside of the institutions. Unfortunately, there has been a rising problem with the recidivism rate in America. I became interested in the underlying problems within the prison system and finding solutions to the ever-growing issue of recidivism. When diving into the topic, I reflected on my past experiences, specifically my 5th grade exhibition project, in which I discovered a cycle consisting of uneducation, poverty, and violence and substance abuse, all of which trap people of all ages, eventually leading them down the wrong path. These topics all share similarities with each other and remind me of a poem written by Tupac Shakur, in which he describes a rose that grew from concrete, battled adversity, and eventually prospered into a flourishing flower. And it goes like this. You see, you wouldn't ask why a rose that grew from concrete had damaged petals. On the contrary, we would all celebrate its tenacity. We would all love its will to reach the sun. Well, we are the roses. This is the concrete, and these are my damaged petals. Don't ask me why, thank God, and ask me how. But before reflecting on a solution to this topic, I needed to inquire further about the cause of such high rates. I began looking closely, and within my own community, understanding those who work with students my age that struggle with law enforcement and staying out of trouble. My dad, the principal at Rancho Buena Vista High School, connected me with a social worker named Rob. He works with students that struggle academically, are involved in gangs, and overall struggle to stay out of trouble. His work is just incredible, as he acts as a father figure to many of his students, even treating some of them like his own children. However, during our interview, I realized how emotionally taxing his work is. Not only has Mr. Rob dealt with many students who have faced terrible trauma early in their lives, but he himself has battled a lot of adversity. After being released from prison, he went on to pursue his education and get his life back on track, and found mentors to help him achieve that and engage in the work that he is in today. After our interview, I reflected back on my 5th grade exhibition project and recognized the similarities between his experiences and the cycle I had discovered years prior. When asked how Mr. Rob helps those students who seem stuck in the same position that he once was, he told me, build a strong relationship with them, because over time they will need you. It may take months, it may take years, but if somebody needs you, be ready. Such an incredible statement, which he followed up with, you cannot look to change the past of a client's life, but it is what you do in the present that tilts their future in the other direction. Mr. Rob is among the few who broke the grim cycle of recidivism and strives for a better and more positive lifestyle. After this interview, I felt fulfilled with what he had told me, feeling motivated by the fact that I can make a change, that I can be there and support those who need me the most. However, Mr. Rob is just the tip of the iceberg in those dealing with recidivism. I began searching to find those who have been sent back to prison before and to find those who have been sent back to prison before. After scouring the internet, I came across Larry Lawton. He's an ex-jewel thief and is currently assisting authorities, law enforcement, and the younger generation. He describes his early life, how he got arrested, and how he got his life back on track in his book, Gangster's Redemption. He highlights details of how he first entered the institution and the cruel environment he was surrounded at by a young age, which eventually led him down the wrong path. However, what I found most compelling was his experience with the justice system. Mr. Lawton, along with other former inmates, were treated unfairly during their time in the institution due to management that saw them as animals rather than humans looking for a second chance at life. After being released, he was entered into a halfway house where he continued to be treated horribly along with the other former inmates. These halfway houses are in place to make it easier to function in such a new environment. However, in Mr. Lawton's case, the staff at the halfway house were incredibly disorganized, lacking leadership and overall support for the former inmates. After this event happened, Mr. Lawton began retaliating against such poor conditions, eventually leading him to be sent back to prison for threatening a staff member. He describes this experience as a step in the wrong direction, only adding to the recidivism rate and further institutionalizing people inside of the prison system. This experience isn't unique, with the United States Sentencing Commission giving a report in 2010 exploring the recidivism of federal offenders, found that over an 8-year follow-up period, 49.3% of federal offenders were rearrested following release. In fact, according to the Community Policing Dispatch in 2022, over half of the citizens released will recidivate sometime in the future. With the right steps, however, communities all around the world can make a change in improving these statistics. Organizations such as First Step Alliance provide solutions, resources, and volunteering to help reduce recidivism. First Step Alliance also provides information on a variety of topics within the prison system, while simultaneously offering solutions and advice. Without support from those willing to make changes, however, these solutions fall short. Speaking out is just the first step in the right direction, while this problem requires a marathon of work. Mr. Robb and Mr. Lawton are some of the few successful in breaking the grim cycle that millions of people fall into every year. This cycle consists of uneducation, poverty, and unhealthy environments, all of which are equal to each other, but require different approaches in finding a solution. Improving toxic environments requires building positive relationships with those struggling. Those with financial struggles need guidance, resources, and other necessities. And those who are uneducated need access to learning materials and mentors. But no matter the problem, whether it is in the cycle or not, the most important factor in offering help is building positive relationships with those around you. So, whether you hate or you love learning, you've learned today how you can help. Be kinder to those around you because you have no idea what they've been through. I encourage you all to reflect on the poem written by Tupac Shakur. All of you are roses, and whether or not you see it, everyone has damaged petals. Support organizations such as First Step Alliance as we continue our journey to creating a better environment for everyone in need. Even though we cannot change the place where the rose seeds are planted, we can clean up the concrete that it grows from. Thank you.